And three, two, one.
We pour whiskey.
And welcome to Mundo Madness Monday. Ooh, oh, whoa. Let's see hold on. What's going on here? I'm hearing an echo and there shouldn't be echo. Do you have your thing on? Try to
Yeah.
get Yeah, try to lower your speaker there so that way.
Yeah, I just did.
Okay.
All
Do you
right.
have any ear Okay, there we go. That's a
Is that
little
better?
bit. It's a little bit better, but I could still hear the echo. Do you have any of these
Yeah, let me grab a pair.
earbuds?
I'll be right back.
Okay. So anyway, welcome to Mundo Madness Monday, guys. And this is I hope you all are having a great evening. We have a great show for you guys. We got Jared in the house, and we are going to be talking tonight about a little bit about Albatross Junction, a little bit about anime shows, and we're also going to talk Sabers. So for those of you who are let's see here, beginners, and we are going to put in, let's see here, civilized Sabers. We're going to put some of that in there, a little bit of civilized saber stuff, because we're going to talk a little bit about sabers. And, we're going to talk about, different things tonight as well. And for those of you who are watching tonight and will watch later on, we're going to start off with a little bit of Albatross Junction issue 3 coming out really soon. Okay. And Anthony, hey Cincy, dude, how you doing, man? Glad you stopped by, dude. Excuse me, guys. Always got to have something to drink. So tonight, yes, we're gonna be talking a little bit, like I said, a little bit about AJ, a little bit about Sabers, a little bit about anime. Hello there. So we're gonna talk also. Again, let's restart, and we're gonna start with Albatross Junction. That issue 3 is coming out really soon. Super excited. Anthony and Kevin are working really hard to get the last of get the last of the details out, and that way, they can get it printed out, and it should be, if I'm not mistaken, either by this month or by next month. Um, Anthony would be able to tell you more, a little bit more on the scheduling for that, for when the issue comes out. And of course, he'll be putting out more videos on, on that too. Uh, and so, I hope everybody's had a great day, a great evening, or a great Monday, so to speak. And of course, I get home pretty late from work, so and excuse my lateness for coming on, but that's the time that I can come on. I'm hoping in the near future I should be, if I come home at 7 o'clock at night instead of 9 o'clock, then I can start doing the show earlier. But that's probably in the future, sometime down the road. Working on it. Okay. And R2, R2, he's always excited about things, right, R2? Oh yeah, yeah. See, I mean, what? I'm working on it. Seriously, no, I have to. It's like if people. Oh, come on now, really? Okay, you see, R2's a little mad at me because I come on a little late, and it's like, hey, people gotta work. So, Jared, how was your day
Yeah,
today?
not too bad. Yours?
Oh, it was decent. It was decent, man. It was decent. So you got any gigs coming up pretty soon?
Yeah, actually, I might be having a gig at the Nashville Hall of Fame, Country Music Hall of Fame. It's just a small thing, 350 people, but
Wow.
yeah. So it's I'm kind of excited about playing there, and
That
you know,
that is awesome. Yeah, for those of you who don't know who Jared is, he is an Elvis impersonator, and pretty damn good one at that.
you're too
you,
kind. You're too kind.
you know, you got to see something. And if I memory serves me correct, that you were also on a couple of Star Trek episodes with
No, they were documentaries about convention. One was about a convention, and the other was fandom. And then I was
fandom.
on the pilot episode of Bluff City Law on NBC.
Okay, okay, cool, cool. And and Jared is he's also, a lightsaber fan as well. He builds his own lightsabers as well. And and you showed me this really cool cross guard that's in the works, huh? Um
Yeah, yeah. It's I call it my medieval paladin. Um, it's 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 a pretty cool take. It's got perforated piping for the handle, the grip.
mhm.
It's got a pointed pommel cap. So it's pretty medieval looking. It's yeah, it's different.
Sweet, 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 sweet. Yeah, always good. So let me show you guys this real quick. I'm working on this little chassis here, and I think I might put it on my Vader. I'm not sure. It's a Master Replicas '03, and so um I right now I don't have the controls to kind of, go zoom in and everything. But so I'm gonna show you like this.
Oh, nice.
And so
And
right
so right
now,
now,
ooh,
ooh,
that's a bit
that's a
loud,
bit
buddy.
loud, buddy. Oh, sorry. There.
There you go.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
There you go. For
Let's
some reason, I
see.
can't get my headphones to hook up.
Mm.
Mm.
Do you have
Do you
any
have any
earbuds?
earbuds? Yeah, I do, but I don't have a 3.5 millimeter jack for my phone.
Mm. Okay.
I don't know why they quit putting those in there.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, let's go
well, let's
ahead
go
and
ahead
do
and do
this.
this.
When you
When you
put,
put,
if you
if you
can,
can. How's that? Is that better?
let me see. Ooh. Yeah, we
Yeah,
still
we
got
still
that.
got
We
that.
still
We
got
still got
that.
that.
What do you call it? Echo.
Echo. All right. Give me a couple seconds here, and I'll see if I can fix that.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'll turn you down here.
Yeah, so that way we won't have that echo coming back so loud. And maybe what you might want to try is whenever you're gonna put yourself on mute, and then when you're gonna speak, take it off of mute, and
Okay, I
then
can do
that
that
way,
too.
yeah, that would probably be much easier.
All right, I'll put it on mute.
Cool, got it. Just give me the thumbs up. Okay, so when you're ready to speak, you will go ahead and do it that way. Okay, and so and of course, this chassis, like I said, right here, right now, is in the works. I mean, I haven't glued anything, I haven't wired anything. I've got just some kind of rinky dink wires over here. I've got an LED with um, working down so that I can try to play around with it. Nothing's permanently put in there right now. So, I mean, I can undo it like in a split second and try to rearrange everything if I need to. So, and then of course it's the Vader's master replica. I've got it all gutted right now, so that way I can kind of fit it, and it actually kind of fits pretty decent in here. Just to put it in here real quick, but I mean, it fits in there pretty damn good. So I got to figure out how to put the chassis along with the blade holder from the custom saber shop and everything, and For those of you who are just joining us and will join us later and everything, if you're not real familiar with the project that I've been doing called Roy Boy, it is a memory saber that has been done in my best friend's. He's my best friend who passed away from brain cancer several years ago, and here is the end result, and it is one of a kind, of course, and of course I have a piece that goes on here that is signed by Darth Maul, Ray Park himself. When Before I had it all wired up and worked on it and everything, I took it to Comic Con in Laredo, where I was doing a um, sword experience with Adrian Paul, and Ray Park happened to be over there, so I took my saber and I had him sign it, and I didn't actually have money to for him to have a picture, and I was all like, "Man, I wish I had the money. I'd get a picture with you." And for the awesome person that he is, he took the picture anyway, and it was really cool. And one of the I still have yet to get a hold of him, email him, and send him a video of this so that he knows that it's a done deal. Yeah, it's a done deal, and it's got my friend's voice on it and everything. One of the coolest things that I also did with this was I also put the font from uh, Matthew Corrado. Also, if anybody who is familiar with Matthew Corrado, which is Nova Star, in Nova Star's fonts, he did a He-Man font, and oh my God, I tell you, I am so in love with that font that it is really cool because when you hear He-Man and Skeletor, but one of the things that they did was I paired it up with a boot from the Highlander, Sean Connery, and his quote, "Power beyond imagination." And I was I was blown away because I pull that kill key, and all you hear is, you have power beyond imagination. Use it well, my friend. Don't lose your head. Quoted by Sean Connery, right? And then I push the button, and then you start hearing He-Man. I have the power. Oh, it's great, man. I don't know if it'll be on there right now. Let's see here. So the quote from Sean Connery is not on right now. Right now, you're gonna hear He-Man, I believe. So, and I love the fact that it is so cool, man. I love that. I love that. So, I'm so in love with the fact that you hear Sean Connery sometimes with the boot first when you pull that kill key, and and it is just amazing. And then, of course, when you hear my friend, if I get my friend's voice on there, you hear my friend going, "Que pasa, mama?" So it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty awesome, dude. Um, One of my next little deals to put on it, though, I'm looking into having maybe Thundar the Barbarian put on it. So I'm going to try to make this. Not only is it a memory saver for my friend, his voice is already on there, but I think I can turn this into 80s, an 80s saber, 80s saber, man. Uh, Jared, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts?
I think that's a pretty cool idea you got going on there. And I like the fact that you came up with Memorant Sabers. I mean, that is so cool to honor friends and lost friends and family and stuff. I just think that's
Hmm.
really cool. But that saber, yeah, I'm digging that. I love that.
Yeah.
And that famous line from Sean Connery, "I'm your cousin Ramirez. Just make sure your head doesn't separate from the rest of your body." You know, I
see
love that.
that. See that one I haven't put on. The one that I have is you have power beyond imagination.
Yeah.
So
Anything Sean Connery says is awesome. I mean, You can't beat
Hmm.
that guy. He's just got that kind of Scottish voice, you know.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. It is awesome. So, for those of you who don't also know that I recently had a birthday, February 2nd, so Groundhog's Day. I didn't get to see my shadow this time. Well, it was rainy and wet and cold, so
Well, happy birthday. I know it's late,
thank
but
you.
happy birthday. My wife just had a birthday too, yesterday. So,
Oh, a
and
happy birthday to her.
then my
On the
stepson
5th.
just had a birthday today. So,
On the 5th? Your
yeah,
wife's was
yeah.
on the 5th? My
My wife
sister's
is
is
the
on the
fifth.
5th.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's
Well,
pretty
her
cool.
son's the sixth too. So that's kind of weird, you know. It's like I no
Yeah.
sooner buy her a present, I got to buy him one.
So
Lightsaber.
here's a card. Here's a card my wife got me. So if you can see it, it's got a little lightsaber on it, on top of a little cupcake there. So pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Love my wife. She understands me. So it's pretty cool. So
and you gotta love that.
yes, absolutely. You have any other sabers in the work, Jared?
Yeah, actually, I do. I've got 34 that I'm getting ready to build. Yeah, I know it's a great number, right? 34. Uh, yeah, I got 34 that I'm going to be doing. Eventually, I'm going to get around to doing my. I had told you and Anthony one time on Civilized Sabers about me having that 24 karat gold icons graphics, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually, I'm going to get around to doing that. Uh,
Cool.
but I'm going to move into my studio.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
way, I have
Cincy,
access to them.
Cincy, thank you so much, man. Yeah, it was a really cool idea, and I've got, I've got a memory one from my father. However, um, it's going to be quite a bit of the works, and let me see here. What do you call it?
Yeah, I just finished a Cyber Assassin.
Oh,
There
that's
we go.
sweet.
Yeah, it's got a
Oh,
natural curve to it.
wow.
Uh, it's
Ooh,
just a
I
baselit.
like. Yeah, I like that font.
Oh yeah,
Is that the one by Shamim?
yeah, yeah. It's
Oh
an oldie.
wow.
If you want, I
Wow.
can. I'll copy it over for you. But yeah, it's just a basic baselit, blood orange.
Blood orange, huh?
Yeah,
That is
uh,
cool.
I got that. Let's see. I've got this from DC Sabers that I'm going to be building.
Oh, cool.
Heavy. I mean, these things are
It
quality. Just the
it looks
pommel
heavy.
alone probably weighs a good 4 ounces,
Mm-hmm.
and they love their threads. But yeah, that's. I mean, it's a solid pommel.
Wow. Now,
Probably four
Cincy, do
ounces.
you have any sabers in the works, bud? Let's see if Cincy has anything in the works, or is he working on anything? Oh man, look at that. That looks nice. See? Yeah, that crossguard looks pretty wicked. Cool. Pretty wicked. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might want to unmute it, dude. You were explaining things, but you had
Oh
it
yeah.
muted.
Uh, with this perforation here, I'm going to
Uh-huh.
use the TCSS component chassis in there with the rods and the
Mhm.
discs. And then
Mhm.
this is all going to be open in here. So you're going to see all the circuitry lit up in here and the battery. all the wiring going through there.
Hmm.
Then I'm going to use an original graphics button here, but there's that pommel. I mean, is that not intimidating?
That is cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's just an idea, one off that I decided to do.
So let me show you. This is my father's memory saber right here.
Yeah, that's one you sent me the picture of. Yeah, that's sharp.
Right. And
Can't go
so
wrong with
let
black and
me
gold.
show you. Well, what I want to do, and I had told everybody that when I re yeah, can you mute that real quick? Yeah. There we go. Cool. So when I reveal this, and like I said, I haven't started working on it yet, and I'm going to, if it, after a few times of working on some different ones. But Rich Sengio went ahead and made the chassis for me, and he included, of course, I also had him make me a crystal chamber, and so the crystal chamber looks pretty wicked there, man. So if you guys can see, I've got the space here for my buttons there, and then of course the LCD screen right here that I'm gonna put in there. And this is just a gorgeous chassis that he printed up and put with the with the crystal chamber in there, and it's gonna be um it's it I can't thank him enough for doing this for me, because Rich is actually, he is a craftsman too with these chassis, much like, Albert and um Albert Flores from Smuggler's Outpost. And we had been talking and talking about different things and stuff, and of course, Albert Flores is the one that did the chassis for my friend's memory saver, and it came out beautiful because, even as small as it is, the um the chassis for it is just in this rib section alone as it is. So it had to be very small, and every time it took me a whole year to find almost a whole year to find somebody to make that chassis for me. Not only because, I mean, I was trying to tell people, how I wanted it, how small it should be, or what it, how it could fit into that rib section. But of course, I didn't have any calipers or anything like that at the time either, so I couldn't give any real measurements. And finally, I broke down. I went to Harbor Freight, bought one, and I hit up Albert. And Albert's like, "Hey, no, here." He showed me how to use it a little bit. Showed me some real quick little videos on how to take the measurement and stuff like that. I'm all like, "Okay, cool. Let me do this." So I started going to town, get the measurement, send it to him. Man, when he printed that thing out and I got it back over here, it fit like a glove. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I was so impressed, and um, so again, I can't thank Albert Flores enough for, you know um, from Smuggler's Outpost to do the chassis for me. Uh, and so it really was, you know, they say that, God, puts people in your life for a reason. He sends you blessings for a reason. Go ahead, bud. If you gonna say, yeah, unmute it.
Yeah. Oh, I,
There we
I
go.
was I was I was just gonna wait till you were done, but since you stopped, here's that 24 karat gold Graphics icons. Graphics.
Oh, wow.
And then, it's got the original red button. It's got the original glass eye in there. Uh, but yeah, that's my holy grail. One just sold on eBay for 15,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right. So I gotta wipe these fingerprints off right away and put it back away. But yeah, it's I got a steal on it. My friend worked for a studio that was a prop company, and it just so happened that he had access to these. And this one was supposed to be for an executive, but either he didn't get it or didn't want it. I don't know what the case may be, but he sold it to my cousin, and my cousin got it for me. I paid him $400 for it. What a steal, huh?
Yeah, no kidding.
And then I had all the paperwork for it and all that. But yeah, and then over here is these are the sabers. These are the sabers I got to build.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Oops, lost the feed. But yeah, that's just some of the sabers I got to build. Yeah. And then I got some in the cases. Some they're everywhere.
I wish I
I
had
wish
that
I had
problem.
that problem. My work cut out for me. Only problem is there's such a shortage with boards and stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And then I'm waiting for the 3.7 to come out. That's got me excited, but Frederick, I guess, is having trouble getting the chips for it.
Hmm.
But yeah, now you got me wanting to put together remembrance sabers. It's like okay, now my mind's running. It's like who do I want to honor first, and what type of saber, and what sound font, and that's why I always try to save like recordings of people when they call me and leave me a message.
Hmm.
Certain messages that say certain things in there, I'll save. That way, later on, I can either listen to it and remember them. But this way, I'll have a saber, I can play with it and remember them at the same time. You're a genius.
Exactly. I wouldn't say genius, man. I wouldn't say genius, but thank you. You are too kind. You are too kind. Cincy, yeah, Candyland, right? I mean, when I saw all those sabers, I'm all like, oh. I'm drooling here. I'm drooling, man. So let me show you. Let's see. Look at those. Look at those. Oh, is that? It's go back to that one on the table. Oh, see, I had been wanting one of those, and I had been eyeballing them for a long time. And oh my goodness, I wonder if they still even make them. Go ahead and unmute, buddy.
Yeah, you can get them on Etsy.
On Etsy.
Yep. The
Hmm.
Star Walker is what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like it. It's just a basic saber with a crystal chamber in here. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean it's well put together. It's got a brass section here. Uh, you know, open pommel, which I
Mm-hmm.
like. So that way you can do whatever you want with it. You're not stuck with a pommel cap in there with a screen you don't like or whatever. So I mean, it gives you, and then that's a chassis. I 3D printed the crystal chamber in there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, I 3D printed the chassis too. But it's a nice, well built saber for the money. I mean, it and it's got a little bit of heft to it.
Right.
And I still haven't got around to the DB6 yet. This thing's a monster. Have you ever felt one of these? The original DB6s? They're heavy.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's a
Mm-mm.
weapon in itself. Forget the civilized age. This is just a smack them on the head weapon. You know.
So that is really cool, man. That is so funny. Let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm kind of working on right now. So before I do my father's memory saber, I'm working on this PVC pipe saber right here, and right now it's just in the beginning stages. I just drilled the hole right here for for the blade retention screw, and I hadn't even glued down the retention screw to the screw itself, and I'm still kind of working on it. I'm gonna have to sand it down. Let's see here. Yeah. I don't know if you can see the pins in there or not. I'm just trying to straighten it up so you can see the pins in there, but I got the pins in there right now. Um, so here in this part where I have the blue, I'm thinking what I'm thinking of doing is having some of that silver, either silver or maybe chrome plated tape, wrap it around it, and then here, not sure if I want to do black here in the emitter or black here, and then I'll have, like a wet black, then I'll have the chrome or silver, and then maybe gold or maybe even brass, because I know that a lot of this may be brass. And of course, I'm going to put something else up on top of here. I'm going to get a bigger piece, and right now I'm trying to decide on my design to go my shroud to go over this part right here. And then of course I was already sanding this piece, and I need to make some measurements and try to find, because right now I'm having a hard time trying to see what I can fit in here chassis wise, because I mean this is only a 1 inch, 1 inch pipe, and even the 3/4 doesn't even fit right in there properly. So um I've kind of sort of kind of go ahead, Jared.
You might have to try to ream that out a little bit, you know, uh,
Mm-hmm.
because anything smaller than 3/4 of an inch, you're going to have a hard time getting the battery in there, let alone a soundboard. That's pushing the limits of your chassis, because your chassis is going to be anywhere from a 16th to an eighth of an inch thick.
Mm-hmm.
So now from 25 millimeters, you've gone down to 24 millimeters almost. 23 and a half. So
Right.
yeah, you might have to ream that out a little bit.
Possibly. Possibly.
I like it
So
though. The way it looks right now, it reminds me of the Stormtrooper hilt.
see, and that's the thing. I don't want to go ahead and uh, uh that's the thing is I wanted to go ahead, and I didn't want it to look like a stormtrooper one. So that's why I'm gonna really paint it and kind of deck it out and make it a little different. But if you see here, I'm kind of playing around with the little things like this, and it fits in there, and it fits a bit tight, right? It fits a bit tight, and I can shove it in there. And if I shove it in there, it's going to be really hard to get it out. But at the same time, it really locks that board into place. I can't move that board for shit, if I really shove that in there. My point is my dilemma is to get something uh get maybe PVC pipe or something that will fit in here, and then have this at the back where all of this, the battery will sit back here. This will sit, the board will sit right here. Then the pins are over here. So, and then of course the speaker's going to fit in here. I've already sanded this so I can make my holes pretty soon, and then get this painted out. I mean, I spent probably about 2.5 hours just sanding this damn thing. So, and I actually I could, it fits right here, but it's still, the battery fits right here at the end, and it fits really loose. It'll slide out. So I need something that's going to hold it. But one of the things that I was kind of contemplating on doing was to get a pipe, probably what, a half-inch pipe, because half-inch fits this pretty well, but somehow modify that half-inch uh to try to drill in, or to use two of the pins, for the positive negative, one with the spring and the other one with the other way, and somehow kind of like make like a little door to close it up, maybe a locking mechanism. So when I put the battery in there, it goes to the spring, and then I twist it, and it connects both terminals like that. So I've got a lot of things on how I want to try to do it, but they just may not work out the way I want them to do it. So
Well,
there's a lot of things I want to try.
what
Hmm?
about a battery sled? You can hot
I'm.
glue the battery sled in there, and then
Hmm.
put a recharge port in there.
Hmm.
Then you don't have to worry about taking it out unless the battery goes bad.
Well, that's what I was thinking about too.
Yeah, that'd probably be your easiest. Just a
Hmm.
battery sled, put in your 18650, and hot glue it down to the front part of that piece that's holding your board.
Hmm.
I think that'd work.
So we'll see. There's a lot of ideas coming. There's a lot of ideas in the works, and as far as buttons go, I'm not sure if I want to put like a 12 millimeter or maybe the two 16 millimeters. I might just decide to do just one 16 millimeter. Uh, maybe do one 16 millimeter button on it because I think I'm going to put the Prism 5.1 on it. So because it's not going to be, extremely, you know, elaborate saber, it'll. I think the Prism 5.1 will be a much appropriate for an appropriate board for this build, and uh, and then I can use it to screw around with it. I don't have to take it to anywhere with me to any cons or anything.
Right? I mean, yeah, it's not like it's going to be a formal saber you're going to run around with at a convention or something all day long with, you know. But yeah, I mean, that's a, it's a good idea. I like it. Kind of reminds me of R2 right now too, you know, with that blue around there. Got me thinking
Yeah.
about R2. But yeah, another thing you can do is use a single button with the dual tactile in there. That way you still got your auxiliary right there without having to tap two holes.
Hmm.
I mean, food for thought.
For sure.
Yeah, I've like I said, I've got my work cut out for me. I've got so many sabers that are just screaming, "Build me, build me, build me," and it's like, I don't know where to start. But yeah, and then like over here, I've got a whole box full of chassis. I might even have one that would work for you. I mean, there's a saber stand I built that glows in the dark. 3D
Hmm.
printed that. But yeah, I mean, I've got a ton of chassis in here that you know. So if you send me your measurements, I'm sure I've got stuff that'll fit in there. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, I've got some pretty small, pretty skinny chassis. Like that one I think is just over three quarters. I think it's like 0.77 inches,
Hmm.
which is about 24 millimeters, I think. But yeah, send me your measurements and I'll see if I got something that'll fit for you. And if so, I'll just send it to you.
Okay.
No big deal, right?
Yeah.
A
No.
saber has got to stick together, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then I build blades too. So I mean, I'm nowhere near Anthony and so like Sabers quality. I mean, them dual star, tri-star, quad star. It's like,
Oh.
oh my god, I'd have to have three batteries just to run it. Yeah. Can you build me one with 10? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's a genius when it comes to blades and stuff. I mean, he's gone to a place far, far away. It's like their talent and their prowess. I mean, their ability to think out of the box and then fulfill that thought. You know, but you're right behind him. I mean, that remembrance saber that's some cool stuff. You know, A buddy of mine wanted me to put a quote together with Hulk Hogan. You know, he wanted me to do the Hulk Hogan and then throw in some Arnold Schwarzenegger in there. You know, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'll get around to doing it, but you know, it's like,
I'm gonna
what
play
you gonna
something
do,
real
brother?
quick.
Which one your Star Wars lightsabers? Where's your Uzi? Go! I got it!
Yeah, but yeah, he wanted me to do that, so I've been tinkering around with that, you know, with the Hulk Hogan. It's what you gonna do, brother, when the largest arms in the world run wild on you? You know, and I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm the former governor of the great state of California. You know, it's not my fault. I'm an actor. What do you expect? What do you want me to do? Oh, cookies. I look forward to tossing them. You know, I mean, stuff like that. But yeah, he's a character. He's like, yeah, and then you can throw on some Stallone and stuff on there too. I said, I don't do that, you know. But
here's
he's
what here's what he said. Here's
It
what he
took me
said.
my whole life, but I'm gonna die a winner.
gotta love Court. Gotta love
Yeah,
Court.
yep,
Did you
yep.
see the episode Little Green Men where they go back to Earth in the 1940s and they're actually the Roswell aliens?
I think I did. It's been a while. Oh,
Uh,
go ahead and mute it. I think I did. It's been a long time though, because I've watched so many things now. It's kind of like I can't even keep up with half the things I watch. So moving on to the next part of the show, which was anime shows and anime movies and stuff. Uh, with all this crap that's going on with Netflix and the password sharing stuff and everything, people may drop Netflix and this because of that, and but Netflix has actually gotten some really good anime movies and shows. And especially if you're into, like the Tekken type stuff or the fighting type, anime. I have not seen it there's this one anime movie that I have not seen that's on Netflix, but one of my favorite anime shows was called Ninja Scroll. And hey Felicia, how you doing, Mama? Cindy, be careful out there, man. May God be with you. On the road, because there's a few idiots out there. So, sorry guys, gotta take care of my buddies, my friends. Going back to anime movies and shows, one of my favorite was called Ninja Scroll. So if you've never seen Ninja Scroll, if you're very big into martial arts, if you're very big into like the fighting type anime movies and shows, then hands down, this is one of the best. For those of you who are like the horror shows and the type genre, like vampires and everything, Vampire Hunter D is one of the greatest as well. Thank you, Felicia. And so, and of course, Anthony has stated that, Vampire Hunter D was one of his favorites. And you can't go wrong with that. Those two anime alone are really, really good. The storyline is pretty excellent. The graphics, the lines. I mean, you would think that these and Kevin and Anthony are, to me, Anthony and Kevin are in that ballpark of drawing because of Albatross Junction. So if anybody on here who has not doesn't know about Albatross Junction, of course this is the comic book right here. Uh, and it's based on a world, basically Earth in a frozen state many years after our lineage has died, and you get this new breed of people who have technology, basically nanotech in their blood, and so they survive different things. But the world is so cold that going out there with no clothes or anything on, you freeze instantly and so forth. Even if the nanobites try to help you, you cannot live that long outside in the cold. So there's different different towns and different things within within this world, and you've got satellites that kind of take over the warming process. So they're kind of like they're satellites that throw down like the sunbeams, but it's artificial sun. It's not real, not real sun. So and they break down, and you got this group of people that go and try to fix it, but they need to bring, they're trying to save the human race from dying out completely. And so you get all these different characters, Bomeg, you get Donovan Cordova, you get the Dybbuk, which is one of the creatures in there. You have, and you also have, Donovan's right hand man. You got so many characters in here that, and Alba, which is the Dybbuk's mother, so to speak. Well, it is the Dybbuk's mother, but she is just like super badass bitch, in here. She won't even think twice. She'll fuck you up, man. She won't even look at that. Yeah, how would you like that coming after you, man? Look at that. Like, damn. And of course, El Mundo's right there. Come for the drink, stay for the mundo. Got the shot glass and everything. Right now I'm not drinking, guys. So, I know everybody looks forward for me drinking. Uh, this is my choice to drink tonight. No alcohol tonight. I gotta wait a couple of days. So, uh, gotta wait a couple of days. You give the liver a couple of.
You got to have a recoup period.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So.
You're going to have to start up the Mundo Monday again, though. I reserved that night.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason why I do Mundo Mondays, myself sometimes, because, it's, don't worry, I'll be having some drinks pretty soon. I mean, I'll be having drinks pretty soon, guys. So I know if those of you are looking forward to me having drinks on the show and getting kind of stupid, hey, it shall be done. It shall be done. Right now, again, I'm doing this on my own, and hopes that, Anthony and Kevin are able to kind of relax a little bit and do what they need to do for, Albatross Junction, their lives. They're busy lives too. Kevin with his family, Anthony with his, and Anthony working on, Saber stuff, working on blades and so forth. Excuse me. And you know even me myself, like I said, I get home at 9 o'clock at night and then come straight to this. And but we all love it, and we all love doing it. And for me, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of um, getting out who I am. Before me doing this show, I didn't even, I had no clue of how to talk in front of a camera. And when I started talking with Anthony and Kevin on there and getting comfortable, it's like, wow, I think I can do this. Oh, what is that? What do you got there? Unmuted, buddy. Let's see what you got.
It's just a little X-wing, a little Lego X-wing. I was trying to incorporate into the shot.
Oh, okay.
You know, got to keep the Star Wars alive, right?
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to all the Star Wars stuff coming out too.
Mm-hmm.
Got the Ahsoka coming out, Mando 3, all that. And then yeah, it's for the Star Wars part, it's going to be good. But back to the comic book. Can you show me a picture of her again?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Give me just a second here. I will show you in just a second, and I think I have that one picture that she was. Let me see. Uh, keep passing it up. I think I keep going too fast. That's my problem. Go too fast. Here we go.
That's what she said.
Houston, we don't have a problem. It is Alba.
Yeah,
Alba is coming.
that's just wicked looking. Yeah, that would give me nightmares if I seen something like that coming down the alley.
Slimy, black, and dangerous. Oh
Now,
my God.
who's the graphics artist there?
Both. Oh, go ahead and mute it, buddy.
Yeah.
Both Anthony and Kevin, and I believe. See, because here's how both of them work. I mean, either they do the drawing and the other one does the inking, or they may do both the inking, and they do both the drawing. So, it in book one, in part, I think the first issue, most of the drawings were, I believe, was done by Anthony, right? Okay, so here it says, issue one, penciled by Anthony Lagapa, inks and colors by Kevin and Anthony. So, and then the story is both of them, right? Lettered by Anthony. So, it is a combination of both of them that they draw out in ink and do everything is both of them together. It's not just one of them. So, um, and they carefully choreograph with coordinate with each other on who's going to draw what, where they're going to draw, who's going to ink what, and so forth. So they go back and forth and have some great communication in terms of when they're going to do a certain page, who's going to draw the page, who's going to ink the page, when they're going to ink it, when they're going to draw it, and so forth. So right, while we're speaking right now, they're probably working on the next issue, and so they're probably working on a lot of maybe the wording or even the drawing and the coloring and so forth. So and again, they're working on getting issue 3 to us pretty soon. Like I said, I believe it's either this month or next month. Go ahead and unmute, dude. You were gonna say?
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's awesome, and it looks pretty thick too. I mean, it looks like a regular novel rather than a graphic novel. I mean, usually
What
they're
is?
about half that size.
Well, actually, that's what it is. That's actually what it is. It is a graphic novel, but you have issues 1 and 2 in there. And then issue 3 will come out. And eventually what they're going to do is they'll have issue 3 come out, then they'll have issue 4 come out. And I'm not sure what their intentions, if they're going to do like maybe 3 or 4 into a graphic novel, or are they going to do just one issue at a time from now on, and the only graphic novel would have been the 1 and 2. Um, but they're great about letting everybody know, especially on Albatross Junction, Orange Comic Book, Comic Book Creation Live. They're going to give us all the information that everybody wants from those that YouTube and those live um, shows. They're going to give us all of the information that we are asking ourselves, what about this, what about that, because like I said, this is Kevin and Anthony's baby. I'm just a bystander. I'm like the number one fan here. From the get-go I was cheering them on, my little pom-poms. Hey, Albatross Junction, Albatross Junction, whoo. No. It, like I said, people are put in my life, and things are meant to be in the world, and it just clicks. It just clicks. So it's been a lot of fun hanging out with these guys, and as you see that when the three of us are on there, we have lots and lots of fun, and it is extremely fun to be with these guys. I mean, they're so cool. They're so uh the energy that they have and the energy that I try to bring with them as well. Because uh, I don't know if you ever seen Killustration with these guys. They went at it pretty hard. They were pretty brutal with each other on those drawings. So if you ever get to go to the YouTube channel and find Killustration, oh my goodness, you'll laugh your head off so hard. Your jaw will hurt for days. I was laughing so hard, I was crying, man. And Anthony, Anthony thought he had really wound up on Kevin, and Kevin just went to town on him. It was like, oh my god, it is hilarious. So you got to check that out. So and of course, I'm the one that kind of judged it too, and so you'll hear me say kill illustration. I mean, all that scenario, man. It was just too funny, too funny, and it was something that needed to be done, I guess, with the both of them. But at the time that we did, it was just too. It was just the right timing, and then that's what introduced a lot of Albatross Junction into everything, because they were just getting started with it. Excuse me, guys. May not be alcohol, may not be beer, but it's still something to drink. You want to chime in for a minute, bud?
Well, I was just going to talk about, yeah, when you guys get together, you guys are hilarious. I mean, I don't know how many times I've laughed so hard I've knocked stuff off the table, and it's like, oh, damn it, now I got to clean this up, you know. And then I no sooner get settled back in, and you guys will pop off something again, and I'm starting to laugh again. Yeah, you guys are hilarious when you get together. It's like
Yeah.
it's like Comedy Central. And you come up with some of the damnedest things to say too.
Oh, I try. Oh man. Oh, so since he has returned home, you may rejoice. So everybody, woo! Since he made it home, since he made it home, since he made it home. Woohoo! All right. So, so okay, Cincy, I rejoice, boy. Just for you, man. Just for you. So yeah, yeah. Um, I get a little delirious sometimes when I get tired, but that's what makes it so fun. Also, I love having fun because life is too short. You got to have fun in your life. Oh my God, it's almost an hour already. Jeez, I've been talking that much. My God, I'm surprised I didn't put anybody to sleep yet. I am surprised I didn't put anybody to sleep the way I talk. Jeez, I mean, I know I can get funny, but funny looking more or less, I mean, I'm no spring chicken either, so uh, I got grays right here. I howl at the moon. What can I say?
You want to talk about grays? I mean, look at this.
I'm not far behind.
Oh, I skipped gray. I went straight white. I mean, that's white, buddy. And everybody's like, "You're not that old." I said, "It's not the age; it's the mileage."
Hmm.
It's like if your body had been through everything mine's been through, you would understand.
Absolutely, absolutely. I concur with that, man. Don't be my goodness. So and so they and of course, their site is Orange Book Comics, right? And if anybody's interested, you can go to the Orange Book Comics website and purchase things that they have. They also in their books, in their comic books, also I'm going to show you something that Anthony has done for me as a little thank you, and it is so sweet, so freaking awesome. You know. Look at that drawing that he did for me right there. I mean, that is just phenomenally awesome.
That is that's tight.
That is, and it says, I apologize that you can't read, but I'll read it for you guys. It says, Mundo, thank you for all your support with this book, and you know, I'm gonna cherish this thing for for the rest of my life, and I hope my kids ain't gonna sell it or anything, and maybe hold it on to it, say so that they can have it for when they grow up and say, hey, look, if they have kids, hey, Papa got this, he was in this, so and that would be so cool, to have a grandchild say, "Oh, you're in a comic book." I don't have any grandkids yet. My kids are still in school. My oldest, she's in college right now, so she's trying to get her degree before she has, settles down and has a family, and that's all I ask for is get your education first. And I tell her, get your education first, have your fun. Then when you settle down, when you're ready to have, your family, you'll be ready and we'll be ready and everything will be in its place. Um, so let's go ahead and let's switch back to shows, TV shows, more or less anime shows. And Anthony, Kevin, and I were kind of talking. Also, we were well, mostly Anthony and I, but we were talking about this cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix, and it is pretty damn close to what Albatross Junction is. Almost pretty close. I mean, it's not quite the frozen world, part of it, but if you watch it and you look at the similarities, I mean, it's somewhat similar, but at the same time, it's like, oh, dude, it's very well written. There's got a lot of technology into it. It's got a lot of fighting in it. Uh, Yeah, Cincy, I totally, man, totally. It was good. And there was there was another one that I just recently watched. I can't remember the title of it, but you know, for what Netflix really is, they really are doing an awesome job on anime movies and shows. Uh, fighting fighting animes. Um, Baki Hama is a really good one. And that is pretty close to some of those fighting games and stuff as well. For the PlayStation, for well, anything, any kind of fighting game. Um, you know, I'm I'm wanting to see some of these other video game anime movies to come out. You know what I mean? There's a lot of content coming out, but you don't see you see kind of half and half. Like one of the really great ones that I see as well has been oh shoot, what is that? I can see it in my head and I can't think of it. It's the zombie one. The oh geez, Cindy, help me out here, buddy. I think what is it in the house? Geez, they did a movie on it. The zombies, not Zombieland. Zombieland would be a funny anime, dude. I think it'd be hilarious. Uh, what do you got? I'm trying to think. My see, that's what happens when you get old too. You get brain farts.
Well,
Too many
not,
things.
not just that. You got to forget things to remember things. You got so much going in there every day. I mean, it's like, oh, what do I want to forget today so I can remember this tomorrow?
You, you're absolutely right, man. A million things on my brain, man, because I got work still on my brain. I got the Sabers, I got this on my brain. I've got the Albatross Junction on my brain. Like oh man, I even got recipes going in my head right now.
Drinks.
Cindy, drinks. You know, okay. I tell you what I'm going to do because I took a little bitty break. I want you to unmute, buddy, and I want you to talk about one of your sabers, and I'm gonna grab me a small amount of alcohol.
All righty. Well, for all you out there, This right here is one of my future projects. It's called a Star Walker. Uh, it's a chrome, brass, and aluminum hilt, uh, crystal
And when I
chamber.
say small, I mean small.
Uh, let's see. This is a saber from DC Sabers that I'm getting ready to do. It's got a burgundy wrap with gold rings, couple see-through windows there, and yeah, just it's a madhouse here. I'm a mad scientist. But oh, well then now you're gonna have to give me a chance to run to the fridge.
Okay, hey, before you do, I was hoping you would.
uh, Aye, laddie.
You.
A little bit of Jameson whiskey, aye.
All
You
right,
ready? All
I'm
right,
ready.
cheers.
Cheers.
Woo! I think I
That's
just
good.
swallowed a leprechaun. You,
Aye, laddie. You put that thing on mute. Good. Because now I'm just might become the fucking leprechaun myself. Right? Jameson, some good stuff, man. Yep, yep, yep.
like I said, man,
Okay.
that stuff's smooth. But you take too big a drink, it's like swallowing a leprechaun. Let me.
Cheers, Cincy. Cheers. Okay. So, what? Like I said, we were talking about these other shows, and the zombie one that I was thinking of in the game in the game, and I believe it wasn't Nintendo's, it was PlayStation. It's a PlayStation game, and
Resident
it
Evil?
there you go, Resident Evil. Thank you, good sir. So Resident Evil not only has come out with the game, came out with a regular live action movie, but they also came out with an animated movie, which was pretty excellent. Uh, yeah, since he's The Last of Us, right? It's pretty close to that Resident Evil. I have not seen it actually, but from what I've seen in commercials, what I've heard people talk about, it is yeah, it is pretty close to Resident Evil on a bigger, like a more of a badass note. they, from what I heard, that what is it? The some kind of bacteria that was I guess turned them into this thing. On
Yeah, it's a virus that mutates and takes over the body, and it's kind of like you've heard of that one where it's the zombie virus for ants. It takes over their body and then takes over their brain. They don't have any idea that it's taken over, but it's taken over. It's doing the driving, right? So that's the same thing that this does, and it's kind of like Resident Evil was a virus too, the T virus, but
mhm.
this, I guess, was a normal virus that mutated, and now it takes over the mind. Same as the zombie virus, but it's transmitted uh, through the mouth, from what I understand. Uh, so basically, if they get close enough to kiss you, you're in trouble. But and then it's a hive mind. So the fungus spreads out across the ground, and if you touch it here, you might wake up these infected, and they might be 12 blocks away. But you disturb this here, and it affects the hive and sends a signal to them, and then they come attack you. So it's even though the area might be clear here, 12 blocks away, you just alerted them. Now they're coming after you. So it's pretty interesting. And then Pedro Pascal, he's the main character, the protagonist.
See, we
Uh,
got we got Star Wars in the
right? I'm waiting for him to whip out a lightsaber, or a dark saber.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is unbelievable. So, sometimes we picture, these characters in, well, the stars that play these characters, right? And you would think that, oh, they can't play all these different other things. They're good. They're really good in this, but they're not really good in that. But sometimes these actors are so, well-rounded that they can play almost anything. Especially like Sean Connery. He was in a lot of action. He was in a lot of drama. He was in, I didn't see him have too many funny, you know, moments in his movies, but he was still a very dramatic and action oriented, character, or actor. And then you have some that are extremely well rounded, where they can play a multitude of uh, characters in terms of being funny, in terms of being serious, in terms of being dramatic, and all of this into one, to each different character that they play. Ben Stiller, for example, he's been, in several funny movies, but you've seen him in a few serious movies. You've seen him in a few lighthearted movies. You've seen him in. I don't think I've seen him in some scary movies actually. Because then you have some of the, there's some actors that, wait, hey, whoa, 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 wait a minute. I'd like to be in this, but I got to think about where I'm going with, with my career in terms of, is this going to hurt my career, or is this going to even make my career even better? Because if some of these actors, they do such a good job at one character, but then it just stops right there, and it really you know, hurts their career because they get pinned to one character. And as much as we love Star Wars, as much as we love Star Wars, um, Pascal is so excellent in Star Wars, but then you see him in these other things like, oh yeah, hey, Felicia's like Adam Sandler, of course, exactly. And since Pedro is quickly becoming my favorite actor. Cool, he is an awesome actor. I cannot, talk enough about this guy because not only is he, Spanish and an actor and just an all around, from what I understand, a great human being. So, kudos to him. Yeah. And excuse me, guys, I apologize. um, what do you think, R2? R2's like, what do you think? Pascal? Sandler? Both. Ah, he says both. Oh, don't get like that. Oh. Well, you know what? Yes, we know you were on there. You see, even R2's getting mad because he says, "Don't you know I was on there too?" Me, that's why they call me R2. I was there too. I mean, come on. he, he, you know, keep keep your resistors online, buddy. Keep your resistors online, dude. Come on, cheers. Cheers. Here's to you, R2. Here's to you, man. You know, I vote for him too. Super Mario. Hey, there you go, Felicia. There you go. Super Mario. So what do you um let in terms of different animes, and going into movies and shows and so forth. I think there is a big trend going on with these animated movies and shows, that I think eventually, I'd love to see more live action video game movies come out. However, and they've done some decent ones. Again, you got like Rampage from the '80s video game. That one did okay. I was it was good, but at the same time, it kind of disappointed a little bit because I thought it would have been a little bit better. but they portrayed it pretty decently. And The Rock did a pretty good job being in there, right?
Yeah, with the Rock, he's a pretty diverse action guy. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Rock, especially if you smell what he's cooking. I mean, you know.
I should get a quote on the saber like that. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Oh my god, that would be a kick-ass saber, I think.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking. No, we got to
Let-
change that to what Mundo is cooking.
right? Hey, well, it's the Mandalorian. Yeah, it's Mundo Monday Madness. The Mandalorian's in the house. Orderly, vato. I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, you're Pedro's long lost cousin.
Since he says, I don't know how they keep messing up Halo. Man, that's what, again, it comes simple. Here's the simple formula because when they mess things up, I think it's a lack of research that the writers do. It is a lack of understanding what these characters are. It is a lack of understanding the storyline behind. Ooh, there you go. It is the lack of understanding of the essence of certain characters, certain shows, certain comic books, and you know Disney is very bad about not getting close to what the comic books are actually, portraying and so forth, what George Lucas had wanted for Star Wars. When you deviate from an original concept on how things should go, I think that's where you tend to mess up a lot of things in movies and shows and games. And I understand that you have to have creative differences. I understand that people want to make their own versions of certain things. Exactly, Cincy. Kind of like a certain sequel trilogy, huh? Yeah. Uh-huh. Exactly. Um and and when you deviate from those things because you want to have that creative thought process, you want to have that creative control. There's nothing wrong with doing creative control on certain things, but it in the you got to think about it in the long run. If you in especially a fan base, if you end up having a fan base, um eventually if you end up having a fan base and you don't listen to your fan base, where is that going to go? It's going to stop. Eventually you're going to stop. Your stock is going to go down. Your shows are going to go like not watched. Your show, even if you throw video games, people are like, "Oh yeah, cool," But if you take away from what your fan base is telling you, "Hey, this is what we're looking to see. This is where we thought you were going, and you're going way over here instead of over here where we thought you were going. You're leading us in a different direction." Well, if you're going to take them in that direction, if you're over here and you want to be over here, but you're trying to get your fan base to follow you, take it one step at a time. Don't rush into it. If you're rushing into it, then you're not collecting your fan base where it should be. And I think, in my opinion, I think that's where Star Wars went. They deviated from what George Lucas was ultimately trying to go because they wanted their own creative differences, and it's fine. But what I think should have happened was follow what George wanted to at the time that he was ending it, and when he ended it, then you move into the new direction saying, hey, this section here is done with, but we're going to follow the next story over here. Now try to come this way if you want to see what happens to, further down the road, but make it interesting you got a yellow brick road, but all of a sudden you hit dirt road in the middle of a yellow brick road. What are you gonna do? Uh, like shit. Which way do I go? Yeah, you're skipping along. You're following Dorothy down the yellow brick road, and all of a sudden you hit dirt. Like, oh shit. Uh, I ain't Kansas no more, Toto, but I sure as hell ain't on the yellow brick road either. Yeah, thank you, Cincy, for agreeing with me, man. So, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
on, come on, Mike. Uh, maybe use the mouse. No, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Um, you know, with the Star Wars, I mean, Kathleen Kennedy basically courtshipped George Lucas into brokering the deal, and then once she got her take on it, her hands on it, it was like, well, screw you, George. I don't care what you wanted. I don't care what you said, and screw the fan base. I mean, I don't care what they want or what they think. I'm going to do what I want to do, and it's going to be my vision. And when she came out, and I have no problem with putting women in the lead roles. I have no problem with that. But the way she did it, I mean, well, in my Star Wars, we have no need for male lead actors. It's like, yeah, but you're throwing away all the prime characters. You killed off Luke Skywalker terribly. You let Ryan Johnson butcher Luke Skywalker. The legacy. I mean, you know, Luke Skywalker started it all. And just to kill him off like that and show him disrespect, show George disrespect, show the fans disrespect. I mean, it could have been done in baby steps, like you said. You want to cross this bridge. Okay, well, first you have to climb up the precipice to the bridge, you know, and then you got to look and make sure it's safe, and then make your way across. You don't just run headstrong into the storm and expect it to be calm, right? I mean, you can't aggravate and isolate that many fans of your fan base and expect success. I mean, she lost hundreds of millions of dollars by alienating the fans and not listening to them. I mean, without the fans, your job is meaningless. Without the fans, your movie's meaningless. I mean, they're your bread and butter, just like a restaurant. Without your customers, you have no business. And she don't care. She's got her millions, and if she distorts the vision, then so be it. She doesn't care. It's like, yeah, but you're destroying a legacy, and just the way she did, she right off the bat kills off Harrison Ford. I mean, you know, okay, I could deal with that, but when she got up there and killed off Luke Skywalker in the next film, it was like, oh my god.
Well, see, Harrison actually wanted to be killed off pretty early, believe it or not, because he really wasn't wanting to be Han Solo anymore after the first three trilogies, because he was done with the character. He really didn't care for it. And if you watch some of the late night TV shows, like Jimmy Kimmel and other places that he's been, he really kind of struggles with talking about that character, because he doesn't appreciate that character the way we do. I mean, he was perfect for it, and but he didn't care for the character the way we all do, of course. And since he's all like, to be fair, Harrison was begging to be killed off. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, Cincy, because he didn't love the character the way we do. And that I admire him in a lot of the shows and movies that he's done. However, it to me, if you don't love a character, why do the character? He did it, purely for the paycheck, really. As we and he admits that, he admits that he's done it for the paycheck. And and it's all good, when you have somebody who's doing it just for the paycheck. But then when you got all these Star Wars fans, and he cringes at some of the fan base because to him that character doesn't really exist for him. Uh, he associates more with Indiana Jones, which is unbelievable, unbelievable movies, an unbelievable character, uh and he did an extremely awesome job with Indiana Jones. Nobody can refute that, but how can you not love a character that has been loved by billions of people because of the love for Star Wars? And I personally thought, here's what I would wanted to have seen in my own creative version is if they were going to kill off, you know, his character, Han Solo. And Han Solo, I think he should have had his blaster, not trying to shoot his son, not trying to kill his son, but I think he should have gone down fighting with him and lose that battle because he he wanted to give his son the benefit of the doubt, not just get killed off like that. I think in the way Harrison Ford should have had his character killed off, was more like he's going to go down fighting, but he's not trying to hurt his son. He knows he's going to get killed, but my son killed me, but he's got to know that I'm not going to stand for this child.
Right. More of a struggle, rather than, I mean, because, he's hugging Ben and then he just pulls the trigger on him. It's Han Solo's character was a scruffy nerf herder. I mean, a smuggler, a fighter. I thought maybe he should have tried to wrestle the pistol or the saber away from him, whatever, but not, like I said, the way they killed him off was just bad. And I know he wanted to die, get his character killed off. But I mean, just, I don't know. It's the whole ball of wax. And I can't blame just Kathleen Kennedy. You got to blame the directors and their insights and stuff, But like Mark Hamill, he was devastated when he found out he got killed that way. And Disney's like, oh no, he was okay with it. He was okay with it. Whitewash, And then there's Mark Hamill going, what? I'm okay with it. You killed off my legacy and trashed my character and made me drink blue milk. Just his character was worse than hermitized. I mean, yeah, granted he became a hermit, but it was just a sad character, all around, angry, sad, bitter, mad. That wasn't Luke. He was always the optimist, the brighter side of things. Hey, look, it might be dark now, but there's light at the end of the tunnel.
He was saying
but he didn't even have that chance. I mean, they took that away from him.
yeah, like the apple with Jojo right there. So yeah, they took it. Yeah, they took the chance away from Mark Hamill, and he stated that very clearly. In some of his interviews, like he was a Jedi. He was a master Jedi. There should have been no reason for him to die like that. He would have not turned around and run. He fought Vader. He kicked Vader's ass. It was like, well, Vader chopped off his hand and then he kicked Vader's ass. But you know, Pops, you cut off my hand like you got yours cut off, and now I'm like you. You're trying to kick my ass, but I kicked yours instead. But you died for me, so now I'm gonna run and hide. And that seems like the gist of the movie, right? So I'm gonna run and hide because I killed my father in trying to save him, but I'm no longer want to be a Jedi because I killed some, my dad. No, you got daddy issues. Okay, fight through your daddy issues. Fight, fight through Emperor Palpatine's, crybaby scenario of, I am going to rule the world, the galaxy, all that shit. Come on. What should have happened was, even though he fought Vader, he should have fought Palpatine himself. They should have had Luke fight Palpatine, and even if he lost and got hurt, this is how I was picturing it, was that Luke fought Palpatine, Luke got hurt, and he had to go to the island in order to recover. And in his recovery, that's where he would have met Rey and started training her because he could no longer fight the way he could. So that, to me, that would have been a much better story in terms of, moving the story along.
Oops. Oops. Well, yeah, I agree with you. That would have been awesome. You know, but that wasn't the vision. Ryan Johnson's like, no, I don't really care for Luke Skywalker. I'm gonna kill him off. You know, and
Hmm.
you know, they used his escape into hermetism by saying, well, he tried to start up schools and the children got killed or whatever the case would have been, and that sent him into seclusion. No, that wasn't Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker would have been fueled by that, and he'd have been like, okay, I'm going after these guys, I'm going to settle this once and for all. you know I mean, thunder, thunder, thunder.
Oh man. So yeah, that would have, yeah. And here's another scenario that I was thinking that could have happened. Right now, after he started the schools and Ben became the Sith that we've come to see, Kylo Ren. Right. I think. Ooh, I would have loved to have seen Luke struggle to not become a Sith. Like he's so angry that he failed Leia and Han, and he's starting to be angry with himself, and he's starting to become a Sith. So you see that he starts wearing the black again, right? He starts wearing the black again. He starts trying to slowly, uh the Sith starts creeping up on him, and he becomes more and more aggressive, more and more angry, and he struggles with that. So maybe, in terms, what they should have showed was him on the island struggling not to become the Sith that was almost him becoming. They could have made a whole new, a whole movie about him being on the island and fighting the urge to not become a Sith at that point, because he had failed Ben, he had failed Leia, he had failed Han. And in that time, he was trying to become at peace with himself. He's trying to become, you know, the Jedi that he knows that he is, and that scenario would not haunt him anymore until Ray comes into the picture. Go ahead. Use your mouse.
Oh, this thing. Use the mouse. Uh, yeah, I agree 100% with you. And you kind of seen that in the Mando episode where Luke comes and takes Grogu. He's in the black, right? Black hood, black tunic again, but this time he's using dark powers, like the Force Crush on that very last Dark Trooper. He Force crushes him. That's Sith. I mean, Jedi's don't use Force Crush. you know so
Right.
he was starting to darken at that point, but he was always light. So I mean, just like a normal human being, we go through trials and tribulations, you know And he had the weight of the whole galaxy on his shoulders, not just the family or friends, or the business. No, he had the whole galaxy on his shoulders. So, and then he's constantly losing Ben, and losing, getting out of touch with Han and Leia, and you know everything he starts just somehow gets darkened. So yeah, I mean, he started to turn dark, and I think that's why he sought out Grogu, was he realized that he needed help not crossing over by having a challenge to train Grogu again and make him remember. So I think
Absolutely.
that's what happens to him again, and then the schools that he starts up gets attacked, and the students get killed, and then Ben turns. Then you have that, So yeah, I think it would have been better if they could have did something like that and went dark with Luke. They could
Hmm.
have always brought him back out, but you know, baby steps, right?
Baby steps. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try to wrap this up now. Going back to Albatross Junction one last time here. Um, in of course, like I said, we're still gonna stick with the Sabers as well. But in the comic book here, not Kevin, excuse me, Anthony, drew 25 Sabers in here, and you had to find the 25 Sabers in here. Some were very noticeable and some were not very noticeable. And some you really had to look very closely. And you know in doing so, that contest was a lot of fun to do, though. And of course it was me, myself, Felicia, and quite a few other people. I think it was like 4 or 5 of us total. And um and the saber that Anthony was going to make, of course, he just revealed it a couple of days ago, for the winner. And it was me and this one other person that had a tie to win the saber. And so both of us, since both of us got it, both of us, were going to receive the saber. But I actually gave my saber to Felicia here, and you know, I set her on the Jedi path with that. And I've been so blessed to have her as a friend. I've been blessed to have many people in my life, that I can have fun with. I've been blessed with enough money, to get some stuff for sabers, to get a few saber hilts and build sabers, especially my friends, saber. So, with me having that many blessings, I need to make sure that I pass that forward, and yes, Cynthia, I have a Padawan. I do. And so, if you go to Anthony's YouTube channel on Civilized Sabers, and he will show you what the lightsaber looks like, and it does look like a Luke Skywalker. So it's pretty awesome looking. He did a freaking awesome job on it. And so, like I said, I set Felicia on the path here. And I told her, you got to make sure you make people smile in this world, because not only for her kiddos, but for other people as well. You got to make people laugh with it, like I did on here with my friends, Saber. And in the future I'm going to be doing some more stuff, to put some more smiles on people's faces on this channel and my channel, Mundo Cabrera channel. And so, for those of if those of you who are looking for my channel, it's under Mundo Cabrera, uh, YouTube channel. And but I mostly go through, either Albatross Junction or Civilized Sabers or so forth, since me and Anthony and Kevin get together and talk about all kinds of things as well. Again, me trying to honor them in terms of uh, working on getting the comic book out there and keep talking about it when they can't. Like on Mundo Mondays, if they're not able to watch the show, I am super happy to come and promote the comic book, promote their channels. And if you haven't either like or subscribe to Anthony's and Kevin's pages, I highly recommend go checking them out. Say, hey, Aunt Kev, what's up? Uh, hit them up and say, hey, how you doing? Kevin is not only is he a tattoo artist, but he's also a painter. He does this and he works with Anthony. And these guys, they work pretty hard to give us some escape from the world. Thank you. Well, you're welcome, Felicia. You're welcome. It's you know God has blessed us both. you know God has blessed us both. And so they work real hard. And Anthony is super super busy with blades. He's super super busy, also making some other sabers and stuff for people as well. um and we got to give these guys a break sometime, because they're trying to do good for us. And sometimes Anthony puts out so many videos per week that I don't know how he manages to do that many videos in a week. I barely even do one of these live vids, man. I mean, I could probably find time for like one, maybe 10 or 15 minute live, and that's it. um but I'm always working so much that it's crazy. And Felicia says, dude, I was watching Carly King's video with a TriStar, and I'm like, holy cow, I'm gonna have TriStar. Like, yeah, it is wicked cool. That video was wicked cool. So if nobody has seen Carly King, she also demos lightsabers, and she talks about Star Wars, and she's pretty cool as well, in terms of. And Aunt had sent her a TriStar, and she demoed it. She lit up our damn side of her house with that thing, man, in the dark. It's crazy. Go ahead, dude.
Oh, yeah, I was just agreeing with you. I mean, yeah, I like watching her videos. She reviews a lot of sabers. I'd like to see her and Michelle Smith in one of the new Star Wars shows, because those two
Mm.
ladies are talented, when it comes to spinning and working the sabers. And I mean, Michelle Smith's a ninja. I mean, you know, and, and she's dying to get into a Star Trek film or a Star Wars film, Star Wars film, or a series or something, and she keeps getting turned down. And it's like, yeah, but you don't understand. She's a choreographer too, So I mean, not only can she fight and really fight, she's trained in martial arts as a ninja, but she's also a choreographer. So what better person to have as one of your team to train the other people to work the sabers? I mean, come on, it's a win-win, right? And you got
Mm-hmm.
all these talented people that just get overlooked, and yeah. But
Yep.
yeah, Carly King, I like her channel. She does a lot of reviews, and she's honest. She'll tell you if anything's out of place or wrong, or she doesn't like this or that. And it's hard to find true honesty like that.
Yeah. So that's perfectly what you said, bro. Because if anybody's watched Lando Sabers, Lando and Lando Sabers, he's really good about telling the truth. I mean, he demos fonts, he demos blades, he demos sabers, um, but he does a lot of his research, and a lot of the stuff that he says. And kudos to you, Lando, if you're watching this. I don't know if you watch these or not, man, but kudos to you, because he is one of the very few people, I think, that does so much research before he does live videos. And he'll tell you exactly what website to go. He'll tell you exactly what company to go, what company not to go with, the reasoning behind his picks of where to go, where not to go. Um, the demos that he does, for KSIT and a few other um, sound font makers that that are friends of his and are quickly becoming very well known as well. And you know, I love the fact that he's a no bullshit person. I mean, straight up, what company it is, what company's not, where to go, where not to go, straight up in your face. Hey, if you want to go there, that's on you. I did the research so that you don't have to go over here and waste your money. That's what I love about Lando, where for Lando Sabers, because he does his research. And um uh if you want to, like, Benji Graham, in Nerf Herder Customs, my God, that dude is freaking. Not only is he one of his best friends, but Benji is from Solo Sabers as well. Um, I think it's Albert Flores, Benji, and Jeremy, right, out of Smuggler's Outpost. All of them are phenomenal makers. I mean, installers. They are. Jeremy just started doing more detailed chassis, because Benji had been doing quite a few chassis that are super super detailed. And if you ever watch Nerf Herder Customs on YouTube, go watch them, man. Go watch them, because Benji is just unbelievably gifted, in terms of learning how to do that stuff. And he puts quite a bit of content also on um, learning the CFX board, on what to put on there and so forth. He's put quite a few content videos on learning things as well. Um, and then of course you got Link and all them for the font makers, and they demo all their fonts, and they show you certain things here and there, and just absolutely gifted people. And Jeremy, he's also, like, super super cool. He's super awesome at doing these installs. So if you're like me, I like to watch these guys videos for the pure pleasure of seeing what their chassis are going to look like, along with their sabers. And it is just unbelievable with the detail that they put into them. These guys put love, their heart and soul into all their work, because when you get that much detail, and to them this is fun and it's not work. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure at times they get pretty tired, and it's just, because they do so many in a day. But the amount of detail and the amount of love that they put into their chassis and they put into their sabers, it is just welcoming to me in terms of watching their videos, satisfying, because that somebody puts that much quality into their work. And if you know you can go buy these $150 piece of crap lightsabers from wherever, and you're gonna go to these other high quality, you're gonna pay a little bit extra, but you know what, for the quality that you get, for the amount of money that you think you're gonna spend, look at every aspect before you start bitching about the price. Look at every bit of aspect of what it takes to make these sabers. What the price? See, and Benji does that too. I mean, he made a video on how much does it cost just to make a saber itself. From the beginning of buying the materials for the blade, buying the materials for the saber, buying the parts. And then you add it all up, and you got people saying, "Well, why does it cost that much?" And this and that. Well, no, because you do not understand what it takes to get to that point, the time it takes to install it. Yeah, it may take these guys an hour or two to maybe do one, but that's because they've been doing it for a long time. When they first started out, it would, when you first started out, what did it take you? I mean, quite a few weeks or something, I suppose, right? Um, yeah. Me, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I started off the same way, watching videos and watching these guys do their thing, and Jeremy, he's very talented, and he walks you through the process. He pulls out the chassis, tells you that I printed this, and he even goes as far as to tell you what type of material he used to print the chassis. I mean, he's very in depth. And you got people like Benji, who will break down the Sabers and everything, and they'll review the board and what fonts come with it. I mean, they're all around. They're not just one thing. They're an encyclopedia. And when it comes to new people getting into the hobby, like you said, they're always like, why does the hilt cost so much? And why does it cost so much to be installed? And why does the end saber cost so much when it's finished? And why does the blade cost? Well, that's because what they don't understand is these people are learning the skills, right? And you learn a skill for what reason? To either build and make money off your skill that you learned, you know, and it takes time. It's not something that you just open up a book, read a couple chapters, and you're ready to go. You know, uh, like even the font makers, it's not easy to put together a font with 13 high and low swings, 5 accent swings, 6 startup, ignitions, and 6 retractions, and you know all that takes time and a skill, and it has to be learned. Just like going to college. If you went to college, you got to pay a lot to learn skills so you can use them in the real world and make money off of them. So, people don't understand that just to make a hilt, you've got to start off with a drawing, an idea, a drawing. Then you got to find a company to take a prototype to, and then you got to have them go ahead and program that into their CNCs, and then the CNC makes it, and then it's back and forth trying to get everything honed in and right, and make sure that the customer, that whoever it is that designed the saber, is happy. And once they're happy, they've got to pay this company X amount of dollars per run. And let's say it's $15,000 to make 250 sabers, right? Well, people don't understand that. That's part of getting that saber to you. So, when I see a hilt for $200, $300, well, it's the amount of work, the craftsmanship that goes into there, the idea, the drawing, the concept, to the final product. And then once that person gets their final product, now they've got to market it, you know, and then they've got to sell it to make their money back. So what people don't understand is, yeah, it's not cheap and it's not easy to, and it's a skill that you learn. So yeah, these people got to make their money. And I'm happy when I was buying before installing, I'd be happy going out and spending $500-600 and having somebody build me a saber personally, not an assembly line, mass produced, but somebody who's taken it and hand building it. I know I'm getting quality. I know I'm getting an assurance that this is right. There's no problem with it. It's been quality checked by the installer, not somebody who's maybe qualified to know if it works right. Right. Mm-hmm. And you got these Chinese sabers, like you were saying, for $100-150 that are just flooding the market. And these Xeno saber boards, okay, yeah, they can do some cool things, but they're not a Golden Harvest. They're not a Profi, and they're mass produced, mass installed, and their quality check is so maybe it's going to work when you get it. Maybe it's going to last 4 or 5 months before it dies out. But like people like Jeremy, you if he builds a saber for you, he stands right behind it. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, I
absolutely.
know plenty of people who have bought from him and had a question to ask him or something. Damn, he's right on it. You know, and it's good guys like that, like Anthony and Benji and all these guys who actually are the glue that holds this hobby together.
Yeah,
And thank God
absolutely.
for people like them.
Yeah, absolutely. And since he says it's a lot of work for
Work for
sure,
sure.
parts and
Parts and
time.
time.
And then he says also that my first took a weekend, but I bought a chassis, laugh out loud. And then Felicia says, hey, didn't Jedi Arms Dealer have a PVC pipe saber? I should hit him up. And since he's all like, preach, brother, preach. Yeah, but and that's another thing. I actually could have bought, when I bought these master replicas a long time ago, in a far, far galaxy away. Uh, it was cool at the time, that I had it. It was working, and of course, it was my Vader, and I loved it. But the fact that I had built my own, and the fact that I can come up with something on my own, in terms of I see all these different kind of hilts, and believe me, I wish I could have one of every one of those. I do. Unfortunately, in the real world, you just don't have that much money to come up and get one of everything. Because if I had enough money, believe me, I'd be having one of everything already, then some. But I wanted to come up with stuff that really was for me first. And I see all these people buying all these different hilts that somebody else made, and I started thinking to myself, everybody's buying this hilt, everybody's buying that hilt, everybody's buying this hilt, and they are really some badass hilts, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like I need something that's going to reflect my personality, that's going to reflect me for who I am. I could go buy one of these, but it may not do that. And I don't want to buy a saber that is not going to be reflected of my personality, my needs, my wants, my being. And like the graphics, everybody has a graphics. You got to have a graphics. I mean, but the way that I look at the graphics, whether it be A New Hope, whether it be Empire Strikes Back, it doesn't matter, because the graphics is what started it, right? The graphics is what started it. And when 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 that was done, um when the graphics came out, and it started everything, the whole lightsaber craze bit. Um, that is such an iconic saber that you have to have one in your repertoire. Okay, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it's such a badass hilt in itself. Um, I just have to have one eventually, right? Uh, but again, and I've seen some super badass hilts that I would love to have, but when you only have so much money, and you got to save for this, you got to save for that, you got to save for a part. My friend's memory saber took me 3 years. 3 years. It was 3 years in the making, right? I ruined two boards, two or three boards, because I'm the type of person that likes to run instead of walk. I ran instead of crawling. This is what I should have done first, instead of this, Instead of this, I should have done this first. But I didn't, because I am a stubborn bastard. And I get what I want most of the time, right? I get what I want. So I like I said, I run before I crawl or walk. And um but I don't give up, and that is my problem. I don't give up until I achieve something. And my very first year, I was aching. I mean, my head was exploding all over the place because of the different parts that the custom saber shop had. And I'm thinking to myself, what do I do? What parts do go with? How do I put this together to look how I want it, how it's going to make me feel? That was the biggest thing. I wanted a saber that was going to make me feel. And I don't know how if this is if this is for everybody or not, because when you buy a saber, you have a certain feeling when you buy it. You're like, "Oh, that's cool." But deep down in your core, it's like, okay, there is a part of me that is a part of this saber. It makes me feel a certain way, like a curved hilt, you know, or a Sith hilt, or a Luke Skywalker hilt. Uh, okay, there you go. See, there is a certain feeling that you get with that hilt, don't you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, this is yeah. Cincy agrees. There is a feeling in these hilts that you either make or you buy. Look at that. See? That is freaking awesome. I love that, dude. Love that. And I see.
This is
Go
a
ahead.
prototype Qui-Gon. Okay, it was a
Mm-hmm.
prototype for one of the early Saber runs, and if you notice, look at that. It's not solid metal through the cutouts. It's actually hollow. So you know you can, and that's the way I'm gonna do it. There's no venting of the pommel, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's solid. This is where all your sound is gonna come out of. So what I'm gonna do when
Ooh.
I do this is I'm gonna mount my speakers so they fire off the back, come up under the soundboard, and then come out through the handle, right?
Ooh.
So that way your sound is projected at the person in front of you rather than backwards to you. So the saber is going to be a lot louder. I mean, so yeah, but when I seen this, I had to buy it. And
Wow.
that's just gonna be so cool lit up like that, you know.
Wow.
And I'm gonna blinky it out. So I think that's just bad. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's part of my collection, So I've got some real unique hilts that I was fortunate enough to get. Some holy grails like that 24K I showed you, that Graphics. And then this, I found this through a Saberist probably 15, yeah, about close to 15 years ago. So this thing's been around for a while, and it's solid. This thing weighs, I think, 1.2 pounds. So it's solid. The emitter is one solid piece. Uh, you unscrew it here and pull the whole emitter off. None of it's threaded. It's all lock and pinion. So yeah, like I said, I was fortunate enough to come across several holy grails, and I don't know if I ever have the heart to actually build them or not. It's like, do I really want to build this? Do I want to keep putting my hands on it? Because I'm the type that I got something setting up there like that. I'm gonna want to touch it. I'm gonna want to fingerprint it, and then I'm putting my fingerprints and oil into the finish, and because I'm not one to go put the gloves on and no, that's not me. It's like, okay, grab it, play with it, okay, I nerded out, so be it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna definitely build this one. I don't know about the Graphics, the 24 karat gold Graphics, but this one I definitely want to do. And I don't know, maybe I'll call it the Qui-Gon Mundo.
The or the Mundo gone. Mundo gone.
Yeah, there we go. The Mundo gone. Yeah. Hell
Cincy, and so my father's memory saver, and of course, since uh, you really came up with a great name for it. So we're calling it the balance. So that is the name for my father's memory saver, and that is going to be forever the great hilt there too. So and again, uh, thanks again to Rich Sangio for making the chassis for it. As I said, when I revealed it before, and I told everybody that I wanted to honor, the chassis maker. So, Rich, if you get to see this and you watch this, man, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. I'm gonna always cherish and love it, dude, because that is such a great chassis for the hilt, man. You really put your heart and soul to it, and I will be forever thankful to you. Um, so and of course, amen, brother, amen. And so, going back and with Anthony, you know, it, when I first started out, and if you look at one of Anthony's earliest videos, Saber videos, he um he went into he was for Civilized Sabers. He was making a hilt called the Gray Jedi, I believe it was. Yeah, the Gray Jedi, right? And in that hilt, he had this piece like this that had the LEDs light up, underneath it. And when you watch that video, and you'll see it, one of the reasons why I did the same thing here was to honor Anthony, because anytime I had a question about, trying to get my saber, in order, and questions, out the wazoo, and I honestly, I don't even know how he put up with me too, because I sure asked a shitload of questions, and he was always so kind enough to, email me back, or text me back, or give me some sort of answer. And in that time, he was making a lot of videos with a lot of different sabers that he was coming out with, and I really enjoyed a lot of his videos, in all the different hilts that he's done. And I couldn't, I to this day, I still go back and I watch a lot of his old videos, because I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff that he made. They're so cool. And then of course, if you watch a Jedi Arms Dealer on his stuff, oh my goodness, some of the chassis that he's made, and the video that he put out from where he started with chassis to what he does now, oh my God, you would be, mesmerized with it.
Well, that's like Kim from the Cantina. I mean, all the little the SMDs that he works with. I mean, like right there, there's, let me see, five lights right there on that little bitty piece of plastic right there.
Hmm.
Five SMDs, and they fit on the crystal focus, as your LED onboard LEDs, and it's insane the stuff that he can do and comes up with, you know, and it's micro work. We think it's hard working with 30 gauge wire, right? For switches, we think, and speakers, we're like, oh, this is so hard to work with. But he's working with, 60 gauge style wiring stuff, I mean, it's like, holy cows, how do you do
Yeah.
this? I can't find a magnifying glass good enough, It's like, where do you get this? But yeah, I mean,
Hey, Chet
you know,
Osborne, how you doing, man? Thanks for
hey,
stopping
Chad.
by. How you doing, man? Thanks for you stopping by, bro. Yeah, we've been going there. We're talking about Sabers, we're talking about Ant, we're talking about, Albatross Junction. We're also talking about anime movies and shows, and different things, just kind of hanging out tonight for Mundo Madness Monday. And so one of and oh since you just showed up, man, we were talking about how Anthony's videos, in particular, in one in particular that I pointed out was Anthony's gray Jedi build from a while back. And my saber that I just finished up, which was my friend's memory saber, Roy Boy, was what to honor Anthony, was that the this part right here where the buttons are lights up just like that saber that he did. But I was telling him that how Anthony put up with me quite a bit because, we went back and forth, and me just learning. I was asking him all kinds of questions, and he was kind enough to take the time and kind of mentor me, through the whole process for me getting to this point. And explaining that it took me 3 years. I'm a very slow learner, but once I get it, I get it. The first year was nothing but trying to figure out how my design was going to work together, what I wanted in terms of parts to putting it together. And then the second year was actually learning how, buying up wire, learning some of the different wires, and really honestly, I didn't even learn the type of different gauges up until this past year and a half. Uh, when I had been watching everybody doing the different gauges, I really didn't understand why they were using the different gauges at one point. As I was explaining to these people earlier, that that I pretty much was trying to run instead of crawl first with the builds. And however, I've got my achievement came in by actually fulfilling my friend's memory saber. So Chet says, "Yeah, I really like your tribute saber for your friend. Well done, thank you, man. Yeah, I mean it was really well worth it. And like I said, his parents got to see it, and they really loved it, and that really hits my heart, makes me feel pretty damn good, in doing that. So again, going back to me learning all this stuff, another year was me learning to soldier. And it took, you know I had pretty much your basic cheesy soldering iron, right? I mean, just your real cheap shit kind of mail kind that you get in one of those little hobby boxes, right? And they come with the wood burning and the soldier iron. So here is the result of me learning. I bought these boards off a Wish for $1. I believe it was like $1.50 for 6 or 7 of these, right? So I bought 6 or 7 of these for $1. Hey, there you go. See, and I learned to do my soldering that way. And of course, this board doesn't look pretty at all. I mean, I was learning to do those small, the small holes, and then to do, the combination holes and stuff like that. It was like, so that I did a year and a half, or about a year of learning to do that on the board. Then it came time for me to do wires. So I started, testing myself on wires. And meanwhile, I was watching Rob Petcow on all of his videos. And thank God for Rob showing, processes on how to make blades. Now, I made my very first blade, and um, I probably watched his videos, and because I'm dyslexic, I see a lot of things backwards, right? When I look at the charts for wiring and stuff like that, it takes me several hours just to make sure I get one wire right. Because if I look at it and I'm gonna put something backwards, I have to triple, quadruple check myself. Otherwise, I know I'm gonna do shit wrong. I've ruined I ruined a battery, and I've ruined 3 boards. And thank God for Anthony and everybody else who has said, you know what, we've been doing this a long time, Mundo. Don't be so hard on yourself, because we've all burnt boards, and we know what we're doing. So you're just starting out and you're burning these boards early. That's that's actually kind of good because you're learning faster than, we've been doing this a long time. You don't be so hard on yourself because everybody does it. And I'm the kind of person that if I do something like that, I'm really more hard on myself than anybody else is on me. If I'm doing something and I do something wrong, people will say, "Oh, it's cool, man. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." But I'm more hard on myself than anybody else will be. And so that's why when I do things, I take my time. It takes a long time, but when I get it, I get it. Um, and again, like uh, I love the stuff that also Robert, Sotomayor does. He is unbelievable in some of his creations, and it's like, oh my god. And so I look up to all these guys. I look up to all these installers. I look up to people like them, so that they only fan the flame hotter and harder for me, to get more excited when I'm ready to do more installs, when I'm ready to do more hills. And and unfortunately, when you don't have enough money to, and you got to save here and there, it takes a little bit longer for you to achieve it, but you'll get there. And if it's one thing my family has always told me, you're stubborn as hell, but I get the end result eventually. I eventually, Felicia says, "Dude, it stresses me out watching Anthony solder. I can imagine the firsthand." Oh yeah, nice, dude,
See, that's
nice.
what I do too. Um, I'm the type that I get in too big a hurry too quickly, right? Just the opposite of your hindrance is I'm hyperactive. So I'll get ahead of myself. So what I do is I go ahead and draw it out. I put the board in there in the chassis, and then I use colored pencils for the colored wire that I'm going to use, and then I diagram it out like that. That way,
Mhm.
I've got my own personal diagram. I know where the red wire is going. I know where the green wire is going, where the yellow wires are going, and this way it's all laid out for me, and and it's in my shorthand. So anybody else that comes up to it's like, what the hell is this shit? Is this a jigsaw puzzle? No, no, it's a schematic.
Well, and that's funny, dude, because I can't draw for shit. I draw a stick figure wrong. I can't even, I can't even draw a damn sword, a small sword, stick figure sword. I'll get that wrong, dude. I mean, that I can't. If my life depended on it, they'd probably hang me because I couldn't draw for shit. They're like, Draw a smiley face." Yeah, I'll draw a smiley face. All right, yeah. My smiley face will be upside down, dude. Like, okay, I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man. Right, R2? R2, do you agree? Yep. See, damn. No. Yeah, R2 says I draw like shit. So I mean, come on. you know. Yeah. If R2 had arms right now, he'd smack me pretty much. Yeah. But again, going back to all these installers and me looking up to him and everything like that. And especially like Tom, uh Meg too. Oh my God. I love watching his videos too because he's so detailed with his videos. And when it's time for me to do, I'm not ready to do a Profi, and I do have a Profi 5.1. Um, but or 1 point whatever the Profi I have to look at it. Um, Whenever I'm ready to do one, I know I can always go and watch his videos, but at the other time, on the other flip side of the coin, I can always email Tom, and Tom can give me pointers because he is such of a great person that I love watching his videos and talking with him. He is a pleasant person to be around talking to, and everything. And some emails that we've exchanged and so forth. And he's such a lovely person. to talk to and watch his videos again. And I keep repeating myself. I am so sorry, guys. If I repeat myself lots of times, it's just my brain works that way because with the individuals that I work with, I have to repeat hundreds of times for them to understand something. And so my brain gets onto that scenario. Yeah, see, right, Cincy, Tom will get you into the prophy if you watch enough of his videos, and he explains everything so well. And I guess, and go ahead.
Well, that's like when I first started, I used to watch Rob, but Jeff Birch was another one I used to watch a lot of.
Mm,
And you always hear Tom, I'm going to do the Birch method, right? And that's put the wire through and then bend it over, and do the Jeff Birch method. But yeah,
yeah.
Tom's great too. I mean, and he's not afraid to let you see he messes up live, and he don't edit that stuff out like some guys. Some guys will be like, oh God, I can't put that in there. But no, Tom's like, oh, you just saw me mess up, and he's even fried a board, and he's
Hmm.
like, oops, well, I think that board's no good. You know? Start over. I mean, it's the realness of Tom that keeps you interested. He's not afraid to make mistakes in front of you. And it's like, okay, this is part of the trials and tribulations. I build them quite a bit. I still mess up. You're gonna mess up. Don't be afraid to mess up. It
Hmm.
might be a little expensive, but you'll learn.
Right.
So
And I think that's what in watching a lot of these videos, and I see him edit and everything, and then of course I understand with YouTube videos doing certain things, and you have to edit your videos here and there and so forth that you make. But in my opinion, I kind of think that that takes away from the realism of the real world when you're making some videos. And I think that if you really want to be, what's the term that I'm looking for? Gosh, oh, I can't remember the term. But anyway, if you want to be as real as you can on YouTube, and one of the reasons, one of the things that I kind of pride myself on here too as well, is I try to be as real as I can. So if I'm screwing up on a live video, I may not get as many viewers or whatever have you will. However, you can have shits and giggles, you can edit this, you can edit that. But in the real world, if you mess up, you mess up, you get back on the horse, you run with it, right? I'd like to see more of that, in videos because, you see somebody mess up, you're like, hey, you know what? Shit, I did that myself. Oh, okay. You know, I saw this on this video, but he didn't make no mistakes. Well, how do you know he didn't make any mistakes while he was editing that video, right? He's taking all the mistakes out of it. But if you're taking some of the mistakes out of it, and you are teaching people, if you're taking some of the mistakes out of it, are you really teaching some people properly? You're skipping a step there. If you want to teach people properly, just teach each step. It's okay to mess up. This is what's going to happen if you don't do it this way. And some people, like Tom, absolutely pure realism, and that to me speaks hundreds of volumes. So when um yes, Felicia, do have made a beautiful saber, Mundo. No easy feat. I mean, it was a labor of love, Felicia. But going back to realism, and you have to have that realism in there because if you want to learn properly, you got to learn that you're gonna make mistakes. Like Anthony and has always told me that even uh Jedi Hesh, I mean he's told me time and again, Mundo, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna burn boards. You don't, no matter how good you get, you're still gonna get to burning some boards. And Anthony says, I got a whole tray full of burnt boards, messed up boards. So I mean, and when I heard that, I'm all like, "Oh, okay, I got a few, I mean, I guess I'm okay." I guess I'm okay. So, and especially with me just starting out, but persistence, love for the craft, the hobby, love for everybody who's in this hobby, friendships that you build, and um, we love Star Wars, we love lightsabers, we love comics and shows, and we try to escape the world as ugly as it is, and you know there are some people that try to destroy this happiness, by being ugly at times, you know, better than anybody else. If you don't do it this way, you're not considered this, you're not considered that. And, with Jeff Birch, he had the right mindset, hashtag nerd up, everybody should be friends in this hobby, look up to each other, ask questions, don't put anybody down. You don't know what their story is. You don't know what they're trying to achieve. You don't know what their level of saber building is. And for me, I have I my level is a grain of salt compared to pretty much everybody else. Uh, even those that just start out. For one fact, because I am a slow learner, and it doesn't matter, and I don't care. What people think of where I am at in terms of my building and so forth. It's fine. You can think what you want. I do not put anybody down in terms of, my saber's better than yours. Uh, you do it this color, do it that color. No. You know what? Do what your heart tells you to do. Work on it as long as it takes you to work on it. The only bad thing that should matter is not to give up on it. Like I said, it took me 3 years to get this thing done. My friend's memory saber, Roy Boy. I didn't give up. I will never give up on any of those kind of sabers, no matter how long it takes me. If even unless I'm dead, that's the only way I'm gonna stop, or I just can't function without something, to drink. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, guys. This is not the answer. This is never an answer. This is just pure fun. You know, um, to those I don't, this is just pure fun enjoyment. Cheers, buddy. Um, I don't condone underage drinking or anything like that, drinking and driving. I always save my alcohol for at home, never on the road. Um, Felicia says it's like a rite of passage, burnt boards. Yes, absolutely. Cincy says louder for the people in the back, Mundo. Louder what? Oh, am I? Oh, okay. So I'm not loud enough, huh? So the people in the back, let me get a little bit louder. Oh no. So I'll do the Tarzan, but no, I'll probably make people's ears bleed if I do the Tarzan yell. Again, Jeff Birch, hashtag nerd up. This industry, no matter, you have to build what your heart tells you to, no matter what level you're at in your builds, no matter, if you're a slow learner or if you're a fast learner, it doesn't matter. We are all, Padawan learners, we're all Jedi, we're all Sith, whatever, have you will. In this hobby, everybody should be friends and taking care of everybody. Nobody's better than anybody else. I mean, I don't care if you think you are the best installer in the world. Doesn't matter. We're here for fun. Life is too short. Life is way too short. Keep it fun, guys. Keep it fun. Help people out. If they need help, help them out. They got a problem, that they just can't get. In the future, I know I'm going to have lots of problems once I get more elaborate with things. and I'm going to need lots of help, simply because, I'm dyslexic, I see things backwards, and it doesn't matter. I know I can count on people to help me. And that's what other people should count on, is getting help from other people. Once you've exhausted all your resources that you've tried, and you read the book, you read the schematics, you tried this, you tried that, and then you ask for help. Some people tend to ask for help before they even try anything themselves, which is okay, but I think you should try it yourself first, and try to figure things out first before you really get the help. Because not, everybody is busy, and you have to understand, you have to respect that people may not be able to answer you right away. Um, and even then, could take days, could take hours to minutes, it could be, a couple of weeks, maybe even, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter, but try to figure things out for yourself before you go and really ask for the help, because some more than likely the answer is right in front of you. You just can't see it. And it took me a while to do that before I really asked any questions. I tried things before I asked, and just to come to find out that I was doing certain things, I was in the vicinity of doing them right. I was almost there. I was almost there, but I just did not look at certain things the way, the way, again, they were in the manual and stuff like that. When I read something in the manual, it takes me 2.5 hours just to understand one little paragraph. So, like I said, and I'm not ashamed of it, because everybody learns differently. Everybody is different. Everybody has different creative flow. And that's what you need to build on. The creative flows that you have is tailored to you and you only. I have mine, you have yours, Rob has his, Tom has his, um Anthony has his, and every aspect of saber building. Yeah, exactly. You too, man. You too. um Jared's got his own, his own style. Everybody has their own style. And this is the reason why we make sabers, because of the way it makes us feel, the way it has escape, the way, the creativity of it. And it's our whole, it's not our whole world. It is a small piece of our world, but it's one of the best part of our worlds. At least it is for me. Yeah, I get a lot of joy coming and talking to people. I get a lot of joy working on sabers, even just stupid little wires, wiring stuff like this. I can't, I sometimes I'll even mess up a couple of wires just to redo them. Like, oh, okay, I can do it this way, and I'm fine with it. And it escapes everything else that I have going on, you know? And that's what it should be about. It's fun, escape, fantasy, but fun. Most importantly, fun. It shouldn't be stressful, right? It shouldn't be stressful.
Right. Exactly. You know, I mean, and a lot of people sometimes forget it's a community. Don't be afraid to reach out. Some people, they've got a God complex in this hobby, and we all know it's true. Some people ask a question, and certain individuals will be like, well, that's a stupid question, or blah, blah, blah. But I see that, and I'm like, hey, look, man, we were all the same way. None of us just woke up one morning and knew how to wire sabers. You know, we had questions. We had to go to somebody to ask that. Well, why not pay it forward? We're a community. We're supposed to be a brotherhood, you know, and some people forget that. But I always go out of my way. If somebody ever asks me a question, I'll be like, hey, you know, this is how you do it. Or if I don't know what they're trying to ask, I'll research it and get back to them. I have no problem doing that. And for the most part, 95% of the community has no problem doing that. I mean, there is no stupid question. Even
Right.
even somebody that's been doing it for 5 years might still have a question because the saber hobby, as far as programming and boards and LEDs and blinkies, you know, I mean, that it's constantly changing and evolving. So nobody has all the answers. And don't look down on somebody because they asked a question that might have been answered 50 times already in the forum. Don't come down on them, help them out. Say, hey, what can I do to help you? Oh, okay, we'll do it this way. Or hey, contact this guy, and he'll tell you. And as far as, my wife's dyslexic, so I understand where you're coming from. And I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm hyperactive. So I have to read things over sometimes because I'll read through it so fast that my mind is already moved on and I forgot what I just read. So I've got to read it again. It's like, son of a. Okay. Okay. Oh, there's where I went wrong. Okay. You know, and help your brother, help your sister, help your friends, help anybody that's in this community. Do your part, pay it forward, and don't think that any question stupid ask, because everybody had to ask somebody. The first saber installer with the first property board, I'm sure, was writing Frederick Hubble going, hey, uh, how do I do this? So
Yeah,
Frederick Hubble was like, okay, yeah, do it this way. So pay it forward. That's kind of the rule of in my house of sabering. Pay it forward. No questions stupid. The only stupid question is one that's never asked. you
hmm
know and like I said, none of us woke up one morning and had all the answers. I mean, we didn't take a pill and know the secrets of the universe. you know so baby step it, and don't be afraid to reach out and ask somebody. Sometimes I've seen where and that's one of the reasons that Jeff Birch originally got out of it, was because of the constant badgering that was going on in certain forums. And he's like, okay, that's it. I'm done.
hmm
So we lost a good saberist, which he's actually starting to get back into it slowly. But pay it forward. That's the theme to me anyway. My montage, my motto: pay it forward, because everybody needs help along the way. You know?
absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody needs help. But again, before you get help, try to do as much as you can for yourself, because there's resources when you reach out. There's videos, there's the manuals. Go through those resources first, because I guarantee you, within the manual, within the videos, you're gonna find your answer for your question before you contact somebody. And if you can't, that's okay. If you have a hard time like I do, but again, I exhaust all of those. I mean, like I said, I watched Rob Petkow's videos probably thousands of times before I even attempted to make my own blade, you know, before I even attempted one single wire in my own blade. I watched his videos over and over and over and over again, and I'm still watching them constantly. Still watching them. Wire recharge ports, wire the AV buttons. Wire this, wire that. How to do. You know, I went back and I watched his video on making retention screw. Hole for the PVC before I even did this. And even though I knew, and I mean, it's not as straight as I'd like it to have it, but I went back and I watched this video, and I got pretty damn close to doing how he did it, and I still made my own retention, screw hole, and I did it on PVC, because now that I did it on PVC, I can actually maybe one day do it, on the aluminum itself. You know, And I probably will do about maybe 3 or 4 more of these before I attempt the aluminum. Uh, but but it's a step in the right direction. And I would have never tried this on my own had I not been watching those videos, right? So again, videos are such a great resource in learning, and even if it takes you hundreds of times to watch the video before you actually get it, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You have the time, do it. You have the time, do it. Um, and with that note, let's go ahead and we're gonna hang up on a happy, happy, happy note. Happy note, happy note. Yeah, I'm getting a little tired as you can Yeah, I know. See, R2's getting a little tired himself. So we're gonna wow, holy shit. 2 hours and 40 minutes. My gosh. Look at it. X-Wing. Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. So again, end up on a happy note for those. Oh, I cannot forget, and I almost did, and Anthony would definitely kill me. You see it, the banner right there, Civilized Sabers, right? Good night, Cincy. Have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Love you. Um, Civilized Sabers, brightest blades on the planet. Anthony, got to get you one, man. Got to get you a TriStar, Quad Star, TriStar. Oh man, and also if you don't know, he's got some merch out. Get you a hoodie, get you a T-shirt with the TriStar logo, the Quad Star logo. He's got hats. He's got merch for all that stuff. Merch for Albatross Junction on I believe it's Orange Comic Book site. And make sure you like and subscribe to Anthony and Kevin stuff. Going back to Kevin, and I didn't. I almost forgot to mention about Kevin's paintings. Right, Kevin is so gifted in his urban contemporary paintings. If you love art, like you like the comic books and stuff, but if you love paintings, if you love art, go to Kevin's website, Kevin Scott Cosme, and check out some of his artwork. His paintings are urban contemporary, beautiful paintings. He does skulls. He does, the crazy women with with you know, his thought processes are out there, but beautiful paintings, man. Go check his stuff out. Go check his stuff out. So Kevin Scott Cosme, check his stuff out. Like and subscribe to his stuff. Like and subscribe. Civilized Sabers, brightest blades on the planet. Anthony Legapa at Civilized Sabers. You can also do here at Mundo Cabrera, for my YouTube channel. Of course, Civilized Sabers, Albatross Junction, and then I believe we still have the Comic Book Creation Live channel on YouTube as well. I need to check with Anthony, see if we're gonna do one of those as well. So, but for now, I'm probably going to be doing the Mundo Mondays for a good while myself, unless Anthony has time to come and jump in. But I am so super happy and super stoked because, of course, we got Jared, the Jedi Elvis in the house, and uh, or a Sith Elvis, however you want to do it, man. You got the red blade right there, so we'll go with Sith Elvis here. uh, yeah, man, yeah. Let's check them all out, and if you get a chance, you can check out Jared too on YouTube. His Elvis impersonator. Checked out some of his videos. Great videos, man. So cool.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate
And so with that, man, yeah, guys, like and subscribe. For those of you who are watching now, I sincerely appreciate it. I love you all. Thank you very much for hanging with us and being here, Felicia, Chad, Cincy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Me included, me yapping. Hope I didn't burn anybody's ears. R2 certainly, appreciates everybody. And for all those of you who are going to watch this later, thank you very much. Like and subscribe if you like, hang out with us. I will be having trying to compose some more, get some more guests on here as well. I'm just currently trying to make sure that I kind of coincide with their schedules as well as mine, and because certainly like everybody's time is different, and I have to be respectful for their time, as well as everybody else's, and hopefully one day I can do this at an earlier time and it'll be a little bit better where more people can come on here at a better time. So I'm working on it, but it's still going to take a while. So please bear with me, guys. Again, let me go ahead and we're going to close it out tonight. And with that, again, shoot, what did I do? I didn't do so. I did something. Uh,
Hashtag nerd up.
Hashtag nerd up. That's right. Love you
Hey,
guys.
thank you for
Mundo
having
out.
me on.
Oh, you're welcome, buddy.
In here, we pour whiskey.